On July 18th, 2012, the Daily Beast published brand new, exclusive, crystal clear video footage of the Ramsey basement and that infamously troublesome basement window.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science. For the first time, the public got to see the sort of evidence Lou Smit had been poring over in the first few months of the investigation. Now, armchair detectives had access to the holy grail of the intruder theory as well. This brand new footage was likely given to Carol McKinley by James Kolar. In July 2012, he was about to publish Foreign Faction, and McKinley's article was basically a puff piece for Kolar's book. Kolar, as chief investigator of the Ramsey case for the DA's office, had unusual access to the Ramsey case file, as I've taken pains to explain in the History Lesson miniseries, and here's the proof. This is quoting from the Daily Beast. Kolar had access to 60,000 pages of evidence, including interviews, forensic reports, grand jury records, crime scene photos, and video. Let's go back a couple of words there. Grand jury records. He says he's now sharing everything but the grand jury information, which he's sworn oath to keep secret because he wants the truth out there. The bottom line is that Kolar was aware of what was presented to the grand jury. And remember, this video in the basement formed the foundation for Lou Smit's intruder theory. Before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, interesting, insightful, meaningful, please hit the thanks button on this Easter weekend, and let's get started. Now, of course, if Lou Smit's attention to detail was legendary and exemplary, it wasn't necessarily perfect, and his review of the evidence has, if we've been kind, been fine-tuned over time. If we're not being kind, well, it's been criticized. Kolar, for one, has improved on it, in my opinion. And we know the grand jury clearly disagreed with Smith's presentation and the conclusion Smith drew from the evidence he saw. It's also very, very likely this video was presented to the grand jury not necessarily by Lou, but by the prosecution team. We know, for example, that the spider webs made an impression on the jury and convinced them an intruder didn't climb through because he couldn't squeeze through such a small space and leave so much web dangling in the bottom corner. Well, now it's your chance to be a grand juror on the Ramsey case. So take out your notebooks. Now is your chance to do some fine-tuning on the evidence as well. The video, 3 minutes 44 seconds, has at least 10 nuggets of evidence. So again, take out your notebooks and see how many of them you're able to identify. So what we're going to do is we'll do a run through. You'll get your chance to take notes, make your 10 observations. Then we'll do a second run through and you can mark off how many of them you identified and how many you missed. Let me know your score out of 10 in the comments.
Salsa. Worth playing for? Yes. Give you...
Right, I'm going to give you a minute to strategize, to get your notebooks, and let's hit the play button. So we start with this image of the, it's a movie poster, an officer and a gentleman. A door is opened, guy shining light in there. Another movie poster on the right. Looks like a picture at the bottom left as well. A couple of frames as well. And now we head towards that window. You can see there's still quite a lot of work left to do in the basement. I think the word there says breaker switch. This is not early in the morning. This was actually at night. And as you can see, the basement window is quite wide open. There's also a smear on the wall, sort of below it. You can see this is very, very clear video. But because it's at night, it's sometimes difficult to make out some of the subtleties, like the web, so do you see any footprints in that debris behind the window? So yeah, we're getting sort of a view of the outside of the window, with it being opened. That's basically what it would look like for the intruder coming in. You can see there's a slight breeze blowing in. It would be very cold air that is moving from the outside in. And then right at the end there, in the left-hand corner, you can see a section of, well, he's getting to it in a moment, you can see that section of web that is clearly still connected to the windowsill. And by the way, that web right at the end, that is not one of the clues. I mean, that's an obvious clue we should all know by now. Right, so now I'm going to take you through the TCRS assessment of the video. 10 clues in the basement video. How many of them did you get? Number 1, the movie poster. That is a clue. The Ramsey ransom note is rife with movie quotes. Several movie posters in Burke's train room proves the Ramseys were TV addicts and movie buffs. A Star Trek poster was also on the wall above the train table facing the basement window. That's not really shown in this clip. The reference to faction may have actually come from Star Trek First Contact, released on November 22nd, 1996, just in time for Christmas. Let's move along. Number 2, picture frame. All the picture frames in the Ramsey home are potential sources for the rare and unusual duct tape found on JonBenet's mouth. This one might have been just another framed movie poster. Number 3, memorial plaque. Just to the right of the frame and beside some rolls of gift paper in this sort of closet area is a strange wooden shape. It appears to be this. John Ramsey was stationed in the Philippines, and although there is no Subic Bay training camp, training was conducted at the Naval Center there. And credit goes for sourcing this to Cotton Star. Thanks a lot, Stephen. Number 4, can of Dr. Pepper. This was very likely left by Burke, potentially indicating a recent visit to the basement. This was his domain after all. The room was sometimes referred to as the train room or Burke's train room. In Burke's bedroom, 2 cans of Dr. Pepper were photographed in his bathroom basin. Number 5, murder weapon. Just as the upright flashlight in the kitchen not far from the bowl of pineapple has been suggested as a potential murder weapon, incorrectly in my view, the silver candle holder beside the can of pepper could be too. Well, that's assuming JonBenet was killed in the basement, in fact in this very room, which I've got to say I don't think is the case. And also, what is that pink case beside the candle holder? Was it JonBenet's? If it was, and you have the can of Dr. Pepper there and Burke's fingerprints on it, it kind of puts JonBenet and Burke in the same area, doesn't it? Number 6, electric cable plugged into electrified train set. Speaks for itself. Number 7, 2 train tracks on the floor. Could they have made the marks on JonBenet? Number 8, red chair. Wouldn't this have made a better, more stable platform, a chair, than the Samsonite suitcase to step on to exit the basement window? A similar chair, perhaps even the same chair, was apparently originally placed on the outside of the basement door, essentially blocking it. Kohler actually mentions that in his book. Number 9, fragment of original corner web. Blink and you'll miss it, but as the flashlight pans away from the window, from that windowsill to the open window, at the bottom you can catch a glimpse of the original dusty web still clinging to the outside of the windowsill. Ramsey apologists would have you believe that the web was broken, but then a spider quickly respun it in the space of a few hours in the middle of the night in winter. But it is clearly a damaged web made against the outside of the window. Another fragment of recently damaged web can be seen higher up. Here it is again from another angle. Number 10, filament of web dangling from shard. This is subtle. This is a very slight detail. And the camera struggles to focus here, but you can make out a single thread of web billowing off the edge of a glass shard. Has this window really been broken for 6 months? What do you think? Look closer. There are also additional idiosyncrasies in terms of the damaged glass and the window frame itself. Would you like me to deal with them in a separate episode? Or let me know. Alright, I'm not going to take it further than that. Please do let me know how many of these 10 clues you noticed, and look out for the finale, episode 10 of the History Lesson mini-series coming out on Sunday. That will be the last episode in that 10-part series. I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter weekend. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time.